Does the U.S. government have an ultra-secret UFO program? Well, some high-ranking lawmakers believe that they do, including the top Democrat in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, who says multiple credible sources claim the U.S. government has illegally withheld UFO-related information from Congress. Joining me now, former State Department analyst Marik Von Rennenkampff, an opinion contributor for thehill.com. You know, it's not fair that I have to do German first thing in the morning there, Marik. You got me there. You wrote an op-ed titled, "Top Senators Believe the U.S. Secretly Recovered UFOs." Talk to us about that. Senator Schumer, along with several other lawmakers, want to reintroduce legislation that would force the government to release information they have obtained regarding reverse engineering UFO programs. What kind of impact would that legislation have if it actually passed, and how would that impact the average American?
Well, good morning, Nick, and A+ on the name pronunciation in the morning. So thanks for having me. And no, it's an intriguing question. And at the end of the day, when we see the Senate Majority Leader, and this is two successive Democratic Senate Majority Leaders now, Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer now, if you read between the lines, are alleging that the government has these very secretive, unreported, technically illegal UFO retrieval and reverse engineering programs. And that's astounding. And it's not just them. It is some of the biggest names in Senate, recent Senate history have been intimately involved in this effort to learn more, to uncover more. And look, I think if this legislation passes, it was introduced about a year ago and did not pass because of some opposition from a key House lawmaker. But indications are from Senator Rounds, the key co-sponsor, and some other senators that we may see this reintroduced. And if it is, I mean, it's astounding to see in the original version, 64 pages of legislation and the term non-human intelligence introduced 24 times. I think that's astounding. I want to also add, not many people know this, but President Biden signed legislation in December that actually does mention non-human intelligence explicitly in the context of UFOs. So this is already in federal law, and we may see more of this in the coming month or so.
But Marik, I have to ask you, though, as a former State Department analyst, you, like myself, having been a former federal employee, you've had a security clearance. You understand the need to keep some things away from the public. Is it possible that the government really does know more than they believe it would be safe for the public to know? Because you cite multiple years' worth of examples of high-level lawmakers pointing to this secret information. Is there a reason why this information is being kept secret?
Well, that is probably the $2 million question, Nick. And, you can think of any number of reasons. Some whistleblowers have suggested that simply what they call the ontological shock, the shock of this kind of a revelation being made public, would be too much for political, social, cultural, financial, or economic reasons. But that being said, if there is indeed some of this remarkable technology of unknown origins, there could be very good, very legitimate national security reasons to keep that secret. We don't put our thermonuclear weapons designs on the internet for a reason. They're not out there floating around because of the essential or the inherent dual use nature of some of these technologies, right? They can be used for incredible good, but they can also be, when in the wrong hands, can be incredibly destabilizing. So I absolutely think there is a valid reason to potentially keep some of this information if it is actually true, and if these are still allegations, but if this is actually true, absolutely, Nick. I think there is a compelling reason to keep some of it secret.
Marik, I have less than 30 seconds. What happens if the Senate proves the existence of illegal UFO programs? What's next?
Oh boy, that is a deeply profound question. I think the way the legislation is written, it is a long-term process. There is a controlled disclosure campaign in this legislation. So this is a long process, and that's a much longer discussion, Nick, and I hope to maybe have that discussion with you in the future.
And Mark, you are always welcome to come and join us in studio. Marik Von Rennenkampff with thehill.com. Marik, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.